deep into left center field. Blackman on the move, off the wall. Pagan scores. Duffy scores. This game is tied. The double play that should have been turned and wasn't has cost the Rockies 3 runs.
Well, 3-2, and there is a pitch that does indeed go into the strike zone. It just gives you an idea of how important it is to have a hot hitter behind Posey. He got a pitch to hit, and just like that, he ties it up. And did the fan touch it? He did. That has been noticed by the Rockies, and that is going to be Walt Weiss coming out here. Now they're going to confirm that that ball was touched. And if it's touched, then it's umpire's discretion as to how they're going to rule it, if they're going to allow that back runner, Matt Duffy, to come in and score. But he reached over and touched it, and that's interference. It's not an automatic ground rule double. There is discretion with the umpire as to whether or not he thinks if it was touched, would the runner score. Then they have to allow it. So there is a chance if they do indeed determine the ball was interfered with, which it was, and they'll see it, as to whether or not that run will score. Reach right over. I mean, that's interference. So they're going to have a look. And the worst case scenario for the Giants is that Matt Duffy will come back to third. And that's what will be talked about, not just whether or not the ball had touched the fan's hand, which is pretty obvious. It's about where the ball was in relationship to the runner and would he have scored. And so when they come out of this, they'll have the decision made. And you'll find out what the ruling is as to whether or not Duffy goes back to third.
This replay review is presented by Xfinity. In the meantime, Russell's going to throw. I don't think there's any doubt that he did touch it. Now, whether the umpires will get involved in this, who knows?
Well, that's what's going to take the time.
I mean, they may not, Mike, have the option to say that it's okay. There isn't any doubt Duffy's score whether the guy touched it or not.
Well, that's what they're talking about. So he touches it, he's halfway to third. I mean, he'd have walked in now.
Yeah, so they're going to keep everything the way it is. Walt Weiss is wondering what's up with that.
And Craig Gibson is telling him, hey, he'd have scored either way.
So here's the deal, Mike. If you could, if you're Walt Weiss, I mean, maybe they lose their ability now to appeal. But okay, what are you going to rule if, you know, you're going to, maybe you can find out ahead of time.
That's the roll of dice. I'm not sure if he's been charged for this, because they did indeed interfere with it, which is what the original question was.
Well, now maybe they're going to play it under protest. Who knows? I don't know.
And he's looking at the scoreboard and it says 3-2, which
well, nobody cares about that. I mean, the scoreboard's wrong.
That wouldn't take an umpire off the field.
I mean, the fact is Rustin's out there going.
So I think he called upstairs to let the press box know that play stands as played. So we have a tie ball game.